we're live, so I can't say, that I had to. I just made sure, I sprayed everything down because I had three mile heads on the interview last night. Three guys in the show, they rode here, so they were sweaty when they got here. So I'll just say
you're gonna mention the show anyway, right?
Sprayed everything down. Yeah. We're live right now anyway, but so it's just a good chat with the guys.
Yep.
Oh, it's right in the shot too, Paul. It's perfect.
Good.
I should have given you like a headset mic tonight or something.
The sound on those are terrible.
They are.
Yeah. I'm good.
It's a long cord.
That's what's. Yeah, I didn't fuck around with the headphone cords. There's certain things that got to be.
It's got to reach the beer.
The hi-fi wheel spinning around. Thank you, dude. Is very hypnotic, and I need to learn the proper beer pouring technique, because you turn around from that thing and it's like this is a work of art sitting here in front of me, and I turn around and it's like 9/10 foam.
When you do it for like, I think 8 years, I was a bartender.
But I understand that. But I
that's kind of cool.
Show me your ways, Sensei. Because
we'll just sit down here and we'll keep drinking everything you pour until you get it right.
Exactly. You're not going to bed until you pour perfectly.
Oh, do it again.
No, but no.
Tap on, tap off.
Yeah.
Tap on. Stupid bike.
I hate this bike. Stupid bike. It's the best scene in that movie. And I'm glad to see that I found the clip so I can send it to you. For people who don't know what I'm fucking talking about, it's the best scene in The Karate Kid. Daniel LaRusso throws his bike into a dumpster, which is what we should all do. Before we begin, let's mention the fine work being done at Ambassador Cycling. I'd embarrass somebody, but he's not here. You know that you can go faster if your bike fits you properly. Did you know that eyeballing your position based on how things fit in 1987 is likely to make you slower, not to mention more sore, right in the taint? Yeah, get to ambassadorcycling.com. Book some time with one and only Bike Fit Sam. Your bike, body, and speed will thank you. Are you mastering your work over there, Jackson?
Well, I was looking at it and I just...
Did I crop it wrong or something?
No. I was just looking at it again because the whole... You know how Remco's doesn't have a background to him?
Yeah.
I was really proud of that.
How did you do that? Did you have to hand crop that whole thing?
There's a thing in Adobe that does it for you.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry, off topic, but...
No, you were marveling at your work. I love your work. What we're saying is, for those not watching us live, you should be watching us live. But Jackson does our social media posts, and you're the social media guru.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. And there's a weird sound in the background.
Yeah, and this weird sound in the background, I'm gonna switch over to Paul. Paul's going old school on us, man. He's actually in house gluing tires on to my brand new wheels for me. Yeah, I know how to do some of this stuff, but he does it better. So it's like when I
like doing it. It's like when I used to build wheels.
Okay.
I like gluing
it's like when I flat on the side of the road. It's just like I look at you and I just hand you everything because it's like I fucking suck.
It brings me back to my youth.
Okay. Also, we need to thank the fine folks at Scratch Labs. I haven't even got to the commercials yet. You know the important proper fueling. Well, Scratch has you covered. From drink mixes, full energy fueling, and brilliant bars and gummies to the best source for feed zone recipes out there. You can't go wrong with Scratch. Click the link at Packfiller, everybody. And finally, you got to mention Athletic Brewing. NA beers have come a long way since the days of O'Doul's. Athletic is the Remco of craft non-alcoholic beer. Really, actually they are. If you haven't tried their offerings yet, you definitely are missing out. Personally, it's the best post-ride beverage out there that I've enjoyed. So get to athleticbrewing.com go via the Packfiller link. Just let them know where it came from and find out what the talk is all about. So there we go. Let's do this. I love that sound. That's the sound of progress in the background.
I'm getting goofy off the glue.
Oh, it's smelly stuff. It's way worse than the old wool bear of the old days.
I still have a tube of that, probably dried up from 1988 or something.
Yeah, like a grandma fart, just all dust.
Yeah.
Is that disgusting? Probably. Yeah. Well, it's Tuesday. The beers are poured and the mics are hot. We definitely should keep it down, however, because someone might be sleeping in an adjoining room. Did you guys get that joke?
Oh,
God.
There we go. Thank you. Is it too soon to say I'm as mad as a sleepy Matthew? Probably. We'll get to that soon. Welcome to Life on Two Wheels. Welcome to the Packfiller. I am your host, manning the console. I'm Pat Bolger. Well, the gang is here, but when I wrote that, I had the full gang is here. When I prepped it, I thought Sam was still potential, but not. So I'll keep going as if he was here, and we'll throw a question to him and just get nothing back.
Can we
back.
answer his question?
We should.
Yeah,
we should
there we
make
go.
up something.
We
for
each
him.
have our own version of Sam.
This is the time we get to know them via a question from you out there, the Packfiller. Gentlemen, when I introduce you, please respond by letting us know an answer to the following. If you could drive any car in the world, what would it be and why would you choose that one? I know, sorry.
it's a tough one.
Paul's getting sad again. Jesus. First of all, he's the master of the art of tubular glue, or so we will find out here shortly.
Until you roll one off.
Yeah. You're just it's like, fuck that guy. I want to put like...
Where's Maine?
Where's Maine? Yeah.
I'm checking him.
Mr. Paul Maine, how are you, man?
Good.
Good. Yeah. Car, you would drive any car in the world. You would drive.
There's all these hypercars and stuff. It would be cool, but they ride like shit on daily. I'm thinking daily.
Yeah, I'm not thinking dream car either.
Yeah. My car would be a Volkswagen Golf R.
Oh.
So they're 325 horsepower, small little. It's just all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Rocket. And fun to drive, and still considered the best.
Was that the one you had?
No, I had GTI, which is front-wheel drive. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The Golf R is okay. So that's all-wheel drive. That's
and they're chipped out and boosted, and so there's a lot of horsepower.
2-door, 4-door.
They only come in 4-door, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
They came in 2 doors, I think. 2016's last year.
Really?
So you're asking somebody who obviously does
Yeah,
research on those.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. You might be on the wrong show.
Yeah.
Although he knows bikes too. Next, he's the most negative guy in the room, Mr. Sam Waples. See, I was going to say that because he tests negative for COVID. See how I did that? But Sam's got, as he said, a slight line, just a distant line on his COVID test. So he's not going to
take a risk.
So he doesn't want to show up.
Appreciate
he doesn't want to do it. Yeah. Paul's on his feet and he's about to
glue up the other rim.
You gotta let it sit. Okay. We're gonna talk about the technique here.
It smells like a bag of sea salt and vinegar chips.
Are you hungry?
Don't eat the glue, Jack.
Well, I don't know if I'll eat. Yeah, I don't know if I'll eat that.
This isn't preschool. Oh
Very
shit!
true, very
Hit
true.
too close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think Sam's dream car is? What should we say Sam's dream car would be?
Should we give our honest opinion, or should we like?
We should fuck with him. Yeah.
Okay, then I think he would really, really love to drive a smart car.
Yeah.
Being over 6 foot, I think he's the type of guy who would want to step inside of a smart car.
I was thinking, and Jackson, you won't know this reference, a good old fashioned Renault Le Car.
Mm-hmm. I know what that
Le
is.
Remember those? Eddie B drove one of those.
Hunk
of shit.
He probably doesn't know what it is, but he loves his Subaru.
Yeah.
Subaru Bratz. Do you remember the Bratz?
Or a Baja.
You know what?
Yeah, that's what
That was the same thing.
Were like they were a Subaru, and then they had like a stupid bed in the back
truck
with jump
back.
seats
Yeah.
in the back.
With
so
ski pole
they can kill
handles.
people. Yeah.
With ski pole
Yeah.
handles. You just
Yeah.
would, like that. So that would keep you in the car.
Nice.
Subaru Bratz. See if
Yeah.
he probably would.
Yeah, Sam. So, okay, let's go with Subaru Brat. That's Sam's car. Third, he's likely the hardest working man in the room. Let's be honest, because we asked him how he was when he came over today, and he just went, yeah. And then he went upstairs and went to the bathroom, probably purged.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one probably. How are you, man? And what's your dream car?
I'm all right. Yeah. My car.
You keep saying I'm all right. That's what it's like. You just want to vent about these children.
Well, no,
you can't.
It's just tired. That's about it.
Yeah.
But my car. Let's see. There is an outdoor. It's like outdoor expedition or something like that. It's a Subaru Outback, and it's like a forest green, and it's got like kind of like beefier, chunkier tires. It just kind of, it's like the car I currently have, but just like a little bit.
It's like
beefier.
The Outback Eddie Bauer edition kind of thing. It's kind of
exactly.
cooler looking. It's got a little pinstriping and shit like that on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, and that's the car that it's like that would probably be my next car in all honesty.
Really?
I know it's probably gonna be like $100,000, but
I don't think it'd be that much.
no, that was overestimation. But
Yeah, but
Have you ever seen the WRX? Is that what you're talking about?
see, I'm a big Outback guy. I like the utility of the Outback along with the function of it. I guess the utility is.
He's not a super aggressive driver.
Oh, me either.
You know? Bullshit. Yeah. I remember trying to keep up with you behind your current car, and my car's not a slouch. So, me, I'm the guy who gained 2 pounds in the last 2 weeks. I have, and you can tell it's off season because it's like from the movie Airplane, and what is it? Jimmy's getting larger. Yeah, when the guy jumps behind him, and that's me. I'm gonna you can hear me getting fatter. And I'm worried about it. I'm going to fat shame myself. I know you're not supposed to fat shame, but I'm going to just do it to myself. So fuck off. I'm just giving myself a hard time. I would drive, believe it or not, I love my Mini Countryman. I love that car. It's stick, and I just love it. It's got just enough horsepower and quickness to go around, and it holds a whole bunch of shit. Or my wife actually wants me to drive, and you guys are going to have to tell me out there. There's this new Jeep with it's like a Subaru Brat, but it's a Jeep. It's got a short little pickup bed in it.
I've seen those. Yeah.
She wants me to drive one of those.
Jeeps are notorious for.
Are they shit?
Yeah.
Well, and I've heard they have like when they break, finding parts is like finding a needle in a haystack.
But
it's
an American car.
Yeah,
not
if.
if.
Always
When.
win. Not if.
Yeah.
It's always win.
What? But they're an American car. Why would they be so hard to find parts?
It's owned by Fiat. Has I don't know if the shares with Fiat because Fiat bought out the whole Chrysler umbrella, which Jeep bought out AMC back in the day. Blah,
yeah.
Blah, blah.
All right.
And I heard that. Well, my soon-to-be brother-in-law has a friend who has a Jeep, and he says, and he says that every time that car, something breaks in it, it's like a couple months until they can figure it out.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. It's an
Maybe I'll stay with my BMW Mini.
Yeah. Tell your wife she's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll go over well.
Yeah.
Just get a BMW pickup if they have that.
Yeah, I don't think they make that, but man, that'd be kind of funky. It'd probably look like the fucking Tesla pickup. It looks like,
you should drive one of them.
Looks like Darth Vader took a shit. They're terrible. Hey, Sam. Apparently you got COVID? Do you have any symptoms? How did you feel overall? How you feeling now?
Do you have these questions written out?
Yeah, I'm reading off prepared text.
Way to go, Sam.
Yeah. Fucking
Screwed up
Sam.
the show.
Yeah, me. I got the booster on Friday. I do want to say that I got my 4th booster on Friday, and I now officially dread every time I'm getting one of these because every shot I've had has just been like, oh, I think I feel holy shit, I'm gonna die, and I'm just out for like 18 to 20 hours, and this weekend was definitely that, and being that it was the World Championships. It was a blessing and a curse. It was a blessing in the fact that I was like, hey, it's a 7-hour race. I can sit back and just watch the whole thing. But it was a curse in the fact that it's finally we got a race during cocktail hour and during the women's race. I didn't feel very good. I force-fed myself a beer during the women's race just out of principle only. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to drink. But I did get about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you guys, I'm going to occasionally keep it on Paul's camera here because people can see what he's doing here. He's gluing on tires, you guys. This is a reason to watch our live stream now. Other than
because
just
it's so interesting.
Sitting here drinking. Well, it's more interesting than watching 4 guys drink and ramble. But about Saturday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I suddenly just out of nowhere, just like bing, I felt great and everything was good. I got the COVID shot and the flu shot in the same shoulder. and so that armpit still has the gland is fairly good size still. It was like the size of a lemon for a while there.
Yeah, your lymph node.
Yeah, that's thank you. But it was, but I didn't. It was a great reason and to just sit back and watch bike racing. So let's talk about the world and all the issues, stories, and lessons learned from the weekend. First of all, I want to ask you guys how nice it was to finally have a bike race that took place during prime time hours. It's like all the
prime time, midnight.
Well, but they started at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I everybody on Twitter from Europe was like, "Man, we have to get up," blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting back with my phone, just going, "Fuck you."
We always have to get
Welcome
up.
to our world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pussies. That's why we kicked your ass in WW2. Sorry, that's a joke. That's a joke. Please don't fucking soundbite that and send it back to me. But how was it? Did you guys celebrate while watching the race and watching it live, or did you watch it for a while and then go to sleep, or did you wait for the next day and watch it on demand? Because that's what we've just been trained to do. I know what Jackson did, but I'll let you go first.
I watched it on demand.
You did?
Yeah, because I like the convenience of that. Yeah, I think it's cool that we would have been able to watch it live, except I don't know if I wanted to watch 7 straight hours of a coverage. So instead, like I said, I chose the on-demand version. And it was, to be honest, exactly the same with it being on demand. But it was,
same results then.
Yeah,
it didn't change. Yeah, it's not choose your own adventure or something like that.
This time Keegan Swenson won. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, exactly.
Like the Clue movie didn't in the Clue movie.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah. Different. So Keegan Swenson won. So you must have been watching Flow Bikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Keegan always wins on Flow Bikes.
Yeah.
Paul, you watched every race straight through, right?
Yeah, so for the women's,
I love watching
I actually
you glue tires.
It was wallpaper pretty much. I had my iPad. My wife and I were watching our normal shows.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to bed, and then I just had my iPad leaned over to one side, and I laid on that side and watched the women's race and finish. That was, well, we'll talk about it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to the intricate details of it. So, I watched every race. Wait, okay, let me think about that. I started watching every race live. Every single one. I was there. And my wife was even there. And, let's be honest, the women's race didn't really start kicking in until, about a little over halfway in. It didn't really start dancing. The men's race, however, was guns a-blazing, 30K in, and we'll get to the other thing that happened before the race even started that made things interesting. But I will admit that I did not make it to the finish either night. I got to a certain point, 100K to go, 40K to go, or something like that, and I was just like going, okay, I remember right where this is. I'm going to bed. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to check anything, and I'm going to come downstairs, and I'm going to hit go the next morning. And so that's what I did. And I know that makes me, not really genuine, but I'm over the age of 50, and staying up past, 9, 10 o'clock, it just doesn't work anymore. So I didn't do it. You stayed up all night though.
Yeah, I did on both nights. And I watched the TTs. Oh, shit.
What's happened?
We need your valve extenders before I glue it on.
Oh, they're on the couch, I think, underneath all that shit.
Perfect. Thank you.
I love this. This is real podcasting.
I watched the TTs. I didn't watch the juniors. I watched the men's and the women's.
I didn't watch any of the junior races.
Yeah, I watched the men's and the women's.
Really?
So yeah.
So you watched Zoe Backstead time trial?
No, because she's in the juniors.
Oh, you did
watch the juniors.
You didn't watch juniors. Okay, you just watched men's road race, women's road race. Okay.
And TTs, the elites on both sides.
Yeah. I was going to ask Sam. He wasn't able to watch. It was all subscription based here in the States, right? Is that what it was? Because
Yeah, you can't get it on like a channel.
yeah, well, and there's no
Which
free
is
access.
interesting. So GCN on the TTs, you could get it on YouTube. I found it on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because it's not the most popular form of cycling to watch. Time
trials.
trialing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because flow bikes obviously all pay, and so
Mm-hmm.
okay, so it was fucked. Okay, the GCN coverage was great in my personal opinion. You guys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
Of
always.
course.
I was
Yeah.
really impressed with it. The women's race, I thought, however, there was one thing I was noticing with the women's race, especially early on. It was a shit ton of what we call cutaway shots, just a lot of footage of the water and seagulls and fucking Sydney, downtown Sydney, and you're like going, we're not in Sydney, and a lot of cutaway stuff like that constantly, and I'm just going, why don't they? Do they think we're gonna get bored watching the bike race that we are actually here to watch?
Well, you know who pays?
It's
for it?
all tourism.
Yeah, that's who
based.
paid for it, not
Yeah.
Australia Cycling.
Yeah.
It was.
It was too much. The women's race especially was too much. In my
Well,
opinion.
what was it? Within about 4K to go, they broke away to a beautiful rainbow,
Yeah.
which was kind of ironic. But it's like this is really the important part of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful rainbow and the sequence with the rainbow
Yeah.
jersey.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the women's race. Let's break down that a little bit. After her crash, can we honestly, anybody in this room, honestly say Annemiek van Vleuten was going to be anywhere near the front? Did anybody think that it was going to happen?
I didn't think so. But shit, she also rode a bunch of races and won them with like a broken wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too surprising from her, in all honesty. But entering into that race, I never thought that she would have finished where she did.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought, when she was saying it's going to be a teamwork effort, everything like that, I'm here to help Mariana and, and make these things happen. I was like, okay, cool. But never would have made that prediction. Although I think all of us had her on our list, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And is she riding this next season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more year. Wow. Yeah. Her last year as a pro.
Going out in the
Is in
rainbows.
rainbow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really cool, I think.
Yeah. Now I do have to ask this because it's always all over the internet, especially Twitter, when this stuff kinds of happen where everybody's like, "Holy shit, she rode that with a broken wrist." Elbow. Rode that with a broken elbow. That's fucking. Is it bad to glorify the fact that she was racing injured? I personal opinions. Are we sending a message that racing injured is cool?
I kind of get what you mean. It's tough because it depends on the level that you race, like if you're, in my instance, if as a Cat 4, I'm probably not going to race with a broken wrist because I know that or a broken elbow rather, because I know that it's probably going to cause long-term damage. But I also think it shows like her immense toughness, but it also does, like we were talking about, it's kind of a double-edged sword because it's, she's probably doing permanent damage to her body.
Yeah.
But also it's quite an immense feat that she did. It's a weird, I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah. I hate being on this crossroads of people just screaming in your face online about the fact that you're glorifying something. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to say I'm glorifying it. I think it should be mentioned that she had a hard time getting out of the saddle because her fucking elbow's broken. I'm not saying I recommend doing it. I'm not saying it's probably the right thing to do, but she got a clearance from a doctor and she was okay to race, and so she raced. So quit busting my balls if I say, holy shit, she did that with a broken elbow.
Yeah, my take on it is they get paid for what they're doing. Cycling has always been a blue-collar sport.
Yeah.
And so, not to, I've actually gone to work with a broken, I smashed my hand and have a plate in my hand and, that type of thing. But sometimes you have to work. And I think cycling is developed this reputation of being a very, kind of work through the pain type of thing. Because whether it's a broken bone or you're getting dehydrated or whatever, that is just the nature of the sport.
Yeah.
If you don't like that part of it, I'm not saying, get lost, but I'm saying that's been over 100 years of tradition of this sport. It's not going to go away. Mm-hmm. I think money, though, when you look at athletes that get paid so much, some of those, to be honest with you, Movistar is not going to push her to the point, or even, whoever's in charge.
They got a lot of money invested in that.
They're not going to say, okay, the doctor says you're okay, then if you want to race, you can go ahead and race. Let her race. Yeah. Why not? It's that athlete's choice. Yeah. But yeah, I find it impressive when somebody has that thrive to get up off the ground after they take a big crash and finish. You have to applaud that a little bit. It's easy to quit. I've quit when it's just freaking hard. Yeah. And then peel yourself off the pavement and finish. That's impressive mental. She's a mental giant.
Mind you, she doesn't have a concussion. She doesn't have anything like that.
No.
Jesus Christ, I watched football last night with my wife, and there was it wasn't last night. It was this weekend. There was a guy who clearly was suffering from a concussion. They took him back, during halftime or something, and he was cleared to compete. And I'm like, dude, that guy was fucking staggering. There's bullshit, but everybody in America's like, oh, let's go. Yeah, that's a tough motherfucker. And then these guys are going to have CTE when they grow up, know? So I understand that realm of it, but I also don't understand the culture online. That's just like, if I, as a podcast host right now, go on and say, Annemiek van Vleuten, rode and won that race on a broken elbow. That's impressive. All of a sudden, I'm going to get hate mail, and it's like, Jesus Christ, let me just appreciate her for what she's done.
I think it'd be different if they told her, you have to go back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or she said, no, I won't listen to my doctors, and I'm going out.
Then we have a...
Yeah. Okay, good. Am I the only one who thought while I was watching that race, holy fuck, those socks are long?
Well, I've thought that on everybody.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, but like both gendered races, I think we've all got pretty long socks, especially the TT socks anymore. It's pretty crazy.
Ugly as sin. I don't like those long socks.
Have you heard about those particular socks?
She got fined for them, but
yeah they're $1,000. They're custom made for you.
Really?
It's called FS.
Fuck's sake.
FSIWs. The fastest socks in the world. That's the name of the company. And so they take measurements and stuff. And the funny thing is, the way I heard it was she pulled them too high to the point where the supposed advantage she got was negated because she pulled it too high.
She probably wanted to keep her legs warm, man. It was
Well, they were white when they started, and they were like dark gray.
Yeah. So if they were knee warmers, if she wore knee warmers all the way down to her ankle, nobody'd bust her, right?
If she wore like leg warmers,
or knee warmers,
a leg warmer from underneath the shorts all the way down to her ankles, she'd be fine.
I guess so.
I know. None of us are UCI officials, but
if you look at what's his name, the Canadian rider Wood.
Yeah, Michael Woods.
Thank you. In LBL 3 years ago, he had leg warmers on. He tried to take them off, and he had one on. So I mean, you can race with leg warmers, but why is the sock? That rule is just the dumbest thing.
It's so weird because if she were to just say, "Oh, it looks like it's going to rain," I think I'll wear my leg warmers. They never would have even blinked an eye because there would have been fabric going all the way up. There are bugs in the house because I got the door open, but
because of the glue.
Yeah. Well, okay. So it seems so weird. At the point I was watching it, I was like going, did they just have a one size fits all sock for the Dutch team, and she's wearing Ellen Van Dyke's socks or something like that? Because Ellen Van Dyke is a lot taller than she is. So I was like, oh, that's fucking ugly. I bet somebody's going to measure those. And they did. They charged for it. At least they didn't say, oh, your socks are too tall. We're relegating you to 8th place, because that would have been probably grounds for a riot.
Or at least they didn't say, hey, we're going to arrest you, but you can still start the race.
No, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. No, spoiler alert. Did she win? Did Annemiek win, or did someone else lose? The last time up Mount Pleasant, the last 2 times up Mount Pleasant, Cassie Niwi-Adoma, Cecile Ludwig,
the German
Elisa
rider.
Longoborghini, and there was a German rider who
and
just
she's the one that kept
fucking
attacking.
dancing, flying up that thing. They just left everybody behind on that climb. And I thought 2 laps to go, they were going to be the group to pull off the podium. That was going to be it.
Yeah.
It was going to come from those 4 riders. 1 lap to go, there it was. Boom, it's gone. And I did they lose the race, or did something behind happen in your guys' opinion that ended up the way it was?
I mean, it kind of feels like all of the riders were like, it feels like watching, everybody's watching each other. And then it's just, you can't really underestimate a rider like Annemiek van Vleuten, I think. And that's what kind of happened, especially, after her crash, people kind of probably put her off as, oh, she broke her elbow. What's going to really happen?
Yeah.
And then just that.
Don't glorify it, though.
No. But, and then that attack right at the end, it's like, it almost kind of feels like it was a lost opportunity. And it feels like from those riders, specifically, I mean, not recently. Uchup Ludwig obviously won a stage of the tour, but it kind of just feels like they are always second to Annemiek.
Yeah.
And it feels like it happened again.
Well, the whole season, everybody was second to her.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
The Giro, La Femme.
Oh, God, my God.
Literally,
yeah. And now Worlds. But
yeah.
Watching that, I'm sitting there watching, and it was interesting because they interviewed Voss. And going up the climb, Annemiek turned to Voss, because she's supposed to be working for her, and said, can I ride? So obviously she's feeling good. And I thought, and Voss wasn't feeling it. She was not.
No, she was struggling.
She was.
Climbs,
and I think she gave her the nod. But here's the part that I'm sitting here thinking, all these girls, here's Annemiek. She was tail gunning it the whole way. She had a free ride. She never pulled, never bridged, never did anything. And as soon as all those groups started splitting up and stuff, I'm thinking, who in the world wouldn't? I know they don't have radios, so they can't say that.
Yeah.
But I tell you, that group of 5 that came into the finish, they had their heads on a pivot. They knew she was there, but they were so glued on the sprinters at that point in time. Annemiek just, oh my God, her only way to win is to do exactly what she did. Yeah. And if you watch, and I've watched it several times, not one girl flinched when she went by. They didn't even. They just kind of looked and just waited for somebody else to chase. It was done.
Yeah.
It was a done deal.
As soon as she launched, I think the announcers, everybody watching was like, "Fuck, that's it."
And no one chased.
Yeah.
For like 200 meters, they just sat there and they didn't even wind it up. I'm like, well, it's over. Yeah. But we don't know, because that's the same group that 3 laps ago that broke away. They're exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whoever's going to chase her down is not going to win. It's World Championships.
Yeah.
And so you're just waiting for the other person. So
yeah.
I think Niwi-Adoma is the one who really, really probably deserved that win. She was riding so well, and she's been so aggressive this whole year. I just was thinking, okay, this is her time. This is it.
My name is blank on the Belgian. I got second.
Lotte Kopecky.
Kopecky.
Yeah.
She was the one that was in good shape.
Yeah.
She had the motor, and she looked the best at the finish. I think she knew she blew it. I think she could have, the way she was finishing
on the handlebars. Yeah.
She could have closed that gap early and probably was, grabbed the wheel and then had a lead out, possibly.
Yeah. Well, that was how she went with Paris-Roubaix too. Everybody was watching her, and then there goes Longoborghini.
Yeah.
She can't chase. So.
Yep.
Shit. Overall grade rating of the Women's World Championships road race, if you had to give one, A, B, C, D, F.
I love the Worlds, so I'll give it an A.
Okay.
I give it an A-. I think I was hoping a little bit more. I think the way they reacted to Annemiek, I'd like to see a little bit. I think just at least the way it played out, but this is coming from a guy who's sitting on the couch at 11 o'clock at night going, how come no one's chasing her?
Come on, man. Let's go.
So, and they're probably all just, at the end. But, I think I think it was about an A-. You know,
Really?
The weather was good. I liked watching that.
Oh
type
my
race,
God,
so.
the downpours they got hammered with were just epic.
As we finish our talk of the women's race, tell me if are you continuing?
No, absolutely.
We have Brent Soderberg saying,
Oh, Brent.
GCN YouTube channel had to be a fake account. It got shut down. Interesting. And then Roger Thompson.
Drink.
He said that we're sounding like triathletes right now, talking about socks and how fast they are.
No,
we
gotta
bashing
edit.
We
Socks,
gotta edit.
Roger. We gotta edit that out. We're cutting that out.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Damn
No.
live shows.
That's fucking live shows. We get caught and all this stuff. No, Roger, I hate the long socks. They look terrible, especially on you. So we all think and know of Mariana Voss as the GOAT. I'm tired of that term. I'm hating it. How often it is used. But what do we call Annemiek van Vleuten now?
I think that's a really interesting question because I was posting something to my Instagram story saying that, like, what a legend or something like that. Yeah. And one of the first things that came to my mind was that word, like GOAT or greatest of all time, because what other rider has really done what she's done in the women's field?
Won
or even
everything
in the men's
this
field.
year.
Yeah, or
in
other
the
men's
Paris
field.
Roubaix.
Yeah.
This year alone should put her in the fucking Hall of Fame.
I think that part of me thinks that she is like the greatest of all time because of what she's really accomplished. You know, all of the tours that she's been offered and like pretty much mostly all of the one-day races that she's ridden, she's won. And so many worlds, it's like it's hard to look past her.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think, to me, what's special, and this is going to get a lot of slack, and thank goodness I don't have a Twitter account, but what she's done now in the last couple of years too. Now Voss has got, like, I don't know, it'll be a long time before anybody meets those wins. I think the fields in women's cycling has escalated in the last 4 or 5 years substantially. But Voss has still won in that. But, man, it'll be interesting to see if anybody matches, you know, their version of Grand Tours, and then just because of the way they do it. But, you know, and a monument in the World Championship. So it's amazing.
Yeah. And I had something, but I lost it. But all in all, it's crazy just the stuff that she's done. Because I feel like, here's what I was going to say. It feels like Voss has won, but she hasn't won as consistently with the rise in quality. But it feels like Annemiek has almost risen to that quality and won more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's so adaptable, and I think that's one thing that is unbelievable about her is her adaptability. I mean, I know we did just talk about like glorifying her elbow, but she's done it on multiple occasions where she's been injured and then come back and won because of that adaptability. It's really impressive.
And she trains hard.
Oh yeah,
very hard.
Yeah.
So.
This year alone puts her, somewhere. Now, I don't want to, we can't, and we all agree we can't belittle what Mariana Voss has done.
No.
The amount of victories probably is definitely more and greater. Mm-hmm. And sorry I was away from the mic there. I just poured a beer and it's got floaties in it. That's just disgusting.
Quite a few.
It looks gross. Must be, I'm not drinking that fucking thing.
What was it?
It was this.
That's Deschutes what?
Well, I don't want to, yeah. You're going to say that's because you're drinking an IPA?
No, fresh squeezed.
It probably
so
it's not fresh anymore. Yeah. Well, it's from camping earlier this summer, so it's just been in there for a while and might have gotten frozen or something like that.
Is it dry hopped? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Anyway,
this is not a beer show.
So let's switch gears to the men's race, and we talk about. I guess to talk about the men's race, we probably need to talk about what happened before the men's race, Mr. If this was a child's novel, it would be Mr. Midnight Matthew in the Case of the Troublesome Teens. You like that?
That it would be.
Yeah, pretty fucking good. So just to begin, I'm sure everybody and their dog knows the story behind it, and there's more coming out. I personally, they're saying you don't watch the video. It's blah, 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 blah. I watched the video today of the footage. It's shaky, and all you hear is, and stuff like that. Rage issues, bad parenting, hotel management issues, overbearing cops, or other. Where would you classify this entire clusterfuck that has been Mathieu van der Poel's night before the Worlds?
Well, I think, at least this is what I mentioned before when I was watching the race, I think he got the unfortunate, you're Mathieu van der Poel treatment. I don't know.
By whom?
By
the kids, by the cops.
I think by the law enforcement.
Okay.
At the time, I think everybody went, "Oh, he's Mathieu van der Poel."
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, he did. I don't think there's anything that's excusable for getting in a physical altercation, as we've talked about before.
Biggest mistake was touching.
Exactly.
Any physical contact. We can all agree on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that. Well, sometimes whoa, that's a big bug. Sometimes I wonder if they went, oh, he's Mathieu van der Poel. Let's talk about how like, let's really accuse him of physically hurting people and all that type of thing. And that's the thing that I was wondering about. But I think that also, I'm not forgiving the physical altercation part of it, but I also think that in a time where you're trying to sleep, you have probably one of the biggest races of your entire season tomorrow.
You're dealing with a cold.
Yeah, high tensions. I kind of understand where it comes from. People were probably drunk and being probably pretty dumb on the other side. So I think it's a kind of a coming together of two not so great situations from on both ends. Yeah,
perfect storm.
Yeah, exactly.
Paula, you wanna jump in on this hot button topic?
Well, if I've mentioned before, there's a guy named Wayne Photos, and he's an Australian guy who kind of gets into the BS of the industry, but he touched on the incident, and he said in Australia, it's hard for Americans to understand, but the defense of a woman is really you can't, if a woman wants to go in another room and you block them, you don't even have to physically touch them. According to Wayne's Photos, you can look it up on YouTube. That can be considered assault in that country. So
I think they classified it as ordinary assault.
So
they did.
A touching is a different thing. Now you've got to another. There's different categories, right?
Yeah.
So that's just their culture. Unfortunately, we don't. I mean, each country has a different opinion of what is assault or what was happening. Now, the confusion, and you brought up too from the other show that you're on. That you don't hear. So the Feed Zone.
I don't plug it.
David, one of the guys on the show, says, what's he doing with his girlfriend? You know? And the deal is that his roommate, Van der Poel's roommate, had a cold. That's why he was down staying.
Oh, I thought it was Van der Poel had a cold.
Oh. His roommate had a cold. His girlfriend / partner or whatever is several floors down, so he decides to stay with her. These girls have done it 3 times, knock and run type thing.
Yeah.
And he told him to knock it off, and of course it's funny, these 13, 14-year-old girls, and I've done stupid things like that when I was 13 and 14.
I did too.
You can't really blame them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to unpack here. At first he said he didn't touch the girls, but then he did grab one.
Yeah.
But I think the part where Van der Poel got a break was we're dealing with a different country and a high, here's somebody from the Netherlands. He's a high profile person.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the government, I don't think the cops had to do what they had to do. They're called for an incident. Somebody has to be arrested, just like in the U.S. They take him in, let him go ahead and race. And then they actually expedited his court case to the next day. And they said, here's the fine, $1,500. You can't come back to this country for 3 years. And I'm thinking he's probably going, no problem.
Fine, fuck off. Yeah, I'm good.
I don't think I will.
Yeah.
So.
I think there's a lot of situations going on, and I do believe that I'm putting gender aside about the fact that these kids are running up and down the hallway, knocking on doors, right? That's just an asshole move, okay? It's a childish asshole move, but it's still an asshole move.
Did you guys do asshole things? When you were 13,
absolutely,
14?
and sometimes
No,
when
I mean not you.
I never did.
yeah, but sometimes when I did
did.
asshole moves as a kid, I got busted for it, and I got in a lot of fucking trouble.
Yeah.
Instead of the fact that I videotaped it and now I'm gonna fucking make money off of it. So I mean, I think this is bad parenting.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're, and I said this on the Feed Zone, that I think that the parents should be, what the fuck were you?
Yeah.
It's the kids are running up and down the hall in the middle of the night, banging on doors.
Mm-hmm.
You're an asshole parent. Tell your kids to shut the fuck up and go to bed. So that's my first one. Number two, I think that, yes, these kids do need to probably admit that they were being assholes.
Yeah.
And not profit from this. And I think that Matthew Vanderpool needs to apologize for the fact. And as a human being, if I was in a hotel and they were banging on my door at that late at night, I would probably lose my shit. And I don't think I would push a child, but I would probably yell and scream at a fucking child, and I would get the fuck back to bed. I have a race in the morning. I'm a fucking world-class athlete. Quit being assholes. So, Matthew was in the right until he touched them.
That's the part where it kind of...
And so I'm tired of this whole, I've seen allegations on Twitter, people posting about, sexual assault. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Are you fucking kidding me? He was just mad at some teenage girls. And by the way, if you see everybody leaning back, there's a big stink bug in the room because I opened the door.
Now you got an issue with
And
bugs.
Jackson has an issue with stink bugs. So, yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it here soon. So there we go.
Fry on that. How is it gold?
Yeah. He might fry in one of the bowls. I also think the local police could have gone, Mr. Vanderpool, we know who you are. We know what's going on. Here's the deal. We're going to take your passport and we'll speak to you after the race.
Mm-hmm.
You're not leaving the country.
Yeah.
We're going to speak to you after the race. Have a good night.
That's that would be nice, but I think the police have to play by the rules, and they can't show favoritism. Again, that shows favoritism because
Yeah, you're right.
if the average guy, of all the people it collides into,
get It hit you in the face.
Yeah. This is a good live show. I
This
like
is a great live show. People ask me, why do you do these live shows? Because it's like, I'm taking one of you fuckers out with me if you're going to kill me.
The most. Might have killed it on
I
my.
would have caught it and eat it.
Might have killed it on my head swivel though, so we might be good now.
Protein.
Anyways, what were you saying?
Yeah. You were in mid-sentence.
I was just saying. No, I was just saying that. Yeah, you can't show favoritism. Whatever protocol is, the cops have to do what they have to do.
That's true.
And
That's true.
because they're gonna get crap. They're getting crap either way. It's a catch-22 for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're probably like, oh shit.
Well, it was a shame. And I do have to say that there were several listeners who were giving us shit about the fact that it's like, none of you picked Matthew Vanderpool in your pre-race picks.
Good call.
Yeah. Do you have people in Australia on call and just go knock on his door? Yeah, something like that. We didn't do that. Let's talk about the race. Highlights and lowlights. One would think that every team would be on top of not letting Remco get away. But was there just a next level thing going on here? What would you guys? How would you guys break this down?
I think it's a man.
That's a big nut
Yeah.
to crunch, but yeah.
I think it's a culmination of the two. I think everybody thought it's Wout's Worlds to lose, and so they were so heavily focused. I think the finish really showed everybody was very focused on Wout, and Tade as well. And I think those were the two focal points of really the entire race that everybody was focusing on. And then when Remco went away, everybody went, he just raced a 3-week Grand Tour. He doesn't really have much left in him. but this is probably the best Remco we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so I think that it was a little bit of an underestimation, but also a next level from Remco this year. I mean, when Alexei Litsenko, no slouch in and of himself, but when he's shaking his head and he's just riding him off the wheel, that was insane.
Yeah.
And after a while, it was like nobody could do anything. Wout attacked. It didn't close time. Mm-hmm. No matter what they did, they could not close time on, right now, one of the, if not the best riders in the world.
When I saw the course profile and I realized that it's, oh my God, there's a climb 8K before the finish. Why didn't I pick Remco Evenepoel? That's just what he's been doing.
I think we all fell victim of what Jackson's talking about. I mean, just it was the unknown. So many times I think he was touted as being the unstoppable, and he's the new Eddie Merckx. And LBL, he did what he did at Worlds, and at San Sebastian he did what he did at Worlds, and that's his thing. And the thing is, we talked about it on the last show, that it'll be interesting to see what Belgium does, and my thought was, it's a perfect scenario. He goes out front, somebody's going to have to chase him. But it was the French that threw the loop, because they were from kilometer zero.
Yeah,
they were filtering out. That was the only way for them. That's the only card they could play.
Yeah,
I mean, when you got Tadej and you got Wout and Remco, just spread it out, and people have to burn some matches to get there. So it was well played by the Belgians. And watching, because there's no radios, I was curious. I was watching Wout thinking maybe he'll get second. They'll be, of course, I'll be very happy. Belgium won too, but he didn't. Whether he didn't put any effort or not know he was sprinting for silver or bronze, or maybe he didn't care.
I didn't know he was sprinting for silver until but I didn't know he was until they came across the line. I was like, what the fuck did they come from?
Yeah, they caught everybody.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that was a substantial gap. And then all of a sudden they show the next shot. It's like, wait, what? You know?
And I think Wout closed a lot of that gap too. So I wonder how much he had left in that sprint.
And he got ridiculed because there was a period there where he went on an attack on the climb.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, one, he probably didn't have any information. Two, Remco's so far out. This is, thinning out the pack. If he does blow, he has less people to keep tabs on. So I don't think it was a bad play on Wout, but I think he was pretty disappointed it wasn't him, though.
We do. A side note, asterisk, both winners of the Vuelta won the Worlds this year.
Oh, yeah. Think about that.
Yeah. Something to say about those Grand Tour winners. Can we let's note the other finishers. There's one in particular that I do want to say, the Jackson's boy and the guy we thought. Yeah. Peter Sagan was fucking up there, man.
Yeah. I think this is,
cocky Peter Sagan was back. Yeah. And that made me happy to see. At the beginning of they interviewed him and he's just like, well, you never know. And he's wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
High pitched voice.
Well, I think that he's one of the only, is he the only person that's done it 3 times? Or one of the only? I think he is.
No. I
Mertens? How many times Mertens won it?
A couple of times. I think, what's his name? Oscar Freire?
Did Oscar win 3 times?
3 times. But not
Where's
in a
Dismount?
row.
Mm-hmm. Where's Dismount?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And Alaphilippe, 2 times?
2.
Just 2? Yeah. But I think that this is almost Peter's race. I think that he kind of shows up to do as best as he can. And I remember seeing him going up those climbs and seeing him right behind Wout and Tadej the entire time. And I was really surprised, but also really pleased at the same time. I think that it's good, and I really hope that there's something big for him in the next year to come. Yeah. Because I think this year, first year on a new team, getting used to it all, I think next year will be a big one.
Why am I the only one that's a gigantic fan of Michael Matthews that keeps mentioning Michael Matthews? He pulled a 3rd.
Yeah.
And this was his kind of race.
Yeah.
I just don't think, and the Australian team was playing into his favor. A bronze medal, is that a happy enough walk away?
Yeah, I feel like it's his highest ever finish.
Yeah. And I mean, for the team, there was a couple guys. O'Connor was up there for a long time, in the break, busting his balls. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. So it was a good race. Talk to me about the issue of, well, we did mention no race radios. Do you think that cyclists have lost the ability to read a race in terms of, in understanding what's going on? Are cyclists just basically, marionettes from being controlled by race directors, or there was definitely some informational loss, and riders were not at some points aware of what was going on up the road.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing is I think you race differently. If you always race without radios, I think you race differently. I think when you throw in a couple of races through the year without radios, it's hard to make that adjustment.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing. Remco even pulled up to a side of, and it's like,
he was
what's a
pointing to
split?
his wrist.
Yeah.
He
So
was
what's the
pointing to his
time?
wrist. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, those radios don't, the way I understand it, those radios are kind of crackling. You don't get too much information, and everything that's relayed to them, like, hey, Remco's a minute 35, it's delayed because they're watching it on TV in their car, which there's a minute delay or maybe 30-second minute delay.
Probably, yeah,
so
30-second delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of delay, thinking it's going up, down, with the satellite and stuff like that. So they're not getting actual time splits unless they, they can say, Remco he blew up, go.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 30 seconds later, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they use it. I think the key part to it, I like the idea that for radio is roundabout with, we're coming up at roundabout at 30K, be cautious, take the right-hand side for safety.
Yeah.
But I don't know how often, because I'm not that good and I'm not a pro, but how often that really strategy comes into play. I think they can give some idea of the split or what's happening, but it's delayed. So
Yeah.
I think racing without radios, if it was more common, I think we'd see a completely different outcome, even of worlds. I mean, people are used to it.
Yeah. How about the youth movement? Primarily, should there be a U23 category anymore?
Not anymore, no. I don't think so, because that's who's winning the races.
Yeah.
The elite top level races.
Look at our Grand Tour champions this year, and the last 2 or 3 years and things like that, yeah.
Well, and Adam Blythe said it too. He was going. He would have won both the U23 and the elite categories. So really, that he said that's why I don't think there should be one anymore. And I it's hard to disagree, especially because anymore, I mean, Tade's 22, Remco's 22, right? Yeah, Remco's 22. I mean, Vingegaard is 25. They're all really young riders, and it, funnily enough, it makes me question.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah,
I'm 23.
Yeah, you're at the tail end of your career.
Yeah,
man.
seriously.
Well, I think somebody brought up with the U23 race, the winner of that, the Kazakh, I can't remember his name, the Kazakh guy, but he raced, I think, for UAE.
Yeah.
He just finished the Vuelta.
Yeah.
I mean, the 1-2 they're on
Third place in the
Pro.
Vuelta was 19.
Yeah. And so the thing is should they be racing the U23 Worlds? That's to me is the question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to race like Remco and stuff, I think if you're a World Tour team, I think U23 races should be for those who are not on World Tour. This is the way they can get found.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the whole purpose
agree.
of that. And junior racing too, is that to get scouts taking a look at you.
How about this? Amateur status. Bring back amateur status.
Yeah.
Where we, back in the day, the Olympics were amateurs. You could not be a professional cyclist. And that, that obviously changed around 88? No.
It was at 90s
90.
when I think
92.
92.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yes, because the Iron Curtain fell down.
Yeah.
And basically those guys were paid athletes.
They were, yeah. So, and maybe bring back that initial, and maybe, or like you said, just no World Tour, or even because we're now looking with this relegation system about how fucked up the World Tour system is.
Well, I got a question for you guys both.
Yeah.
The U23, they've never had a U23 women's. Now,
the combination of the categories was a clusterfuck,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
and I don't even remember who won the U23.
I don't
women's.
either. But she was up in the front group,
Yeah,
which
that's all you have to do.
again negates the entire
Yeah,
concept of
exactly.
the category.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that has to change for sure.
Yeah. Okay. There. Yeah. So we're all. Hey, well, talk to me about actually rank the race. Give it the letter grade. Men's, Jackson.
I'm of two minds because because earlier in the year I was saying that the classic season was kind of predictable, and I feel like this was of that similar status. You know, I think that 2-3 laps to go, it was Remco and only Remco after a while. And so that part of my mind goes, give it a A- or a B+.
Okay.
But also factoring in the history of what this last season has brought to Remco, I'm going to give it an A because this was an unbelievable feat to finish up his Palmares from the entire year.
Okay. Paul, what do you rank it? I agree with you, Jackson. That's a good analysis.
I love Worlds. I've always loved Worlds. I love one day classics better than World Tours. This one I was excited. I was thinking, just looking at the parcours, and I was thinking, this is going to be great. And it was great until Remco went. And then it's just like, it's like that balloon hit.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no excitement. And
Yeah.
so, unfortunately, and that's what dropped it down. But I think the course was pretty good.
Mhm.
I hate to say, I don't think the crowds were. I mean, I was expecting the Aussies are crazy people,
Yeah.
and I thought they were just going to go ape, and like Denmark, where there was like 20 deep the whole route.
Yeah.
But I didn't really. I mean, there was plenty of people there, and they seemed very excited. Those who were there, but I expected a little more out of the crowd, which kind of creates. Nothing's going to beat last year's Worlds at.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, well, that's just the Belgian people. I mean,
Yeah.
there was not a spot on the road without somebody watching. So.
Yeah. I kind of wish Remco would have won there.
Yeah.
Instead of Australia.
Man.
That would have been
Oh my
crazy.
God. Oh my God.
That country would probably blow up.
It would just
Yeah.
everybody's heads
Yeah.
would have exploded.
Yeah.
It would have been like a scene from that. What was that? I can't remember.
Well, did you see what he posted today? Well, what Quick Step Alpha Vinyl posted today?
No,
There was him returning and seeing all of that like welcome that he's
because
been
he didn't
getting.
go home after
After
the
the
Vuelta.
Vuelta.
Yeah.
No.
It's gonna be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
So
pretty
here's,
cool.
here's a little note of interest. I'm like, why does he have a red helmet?
Yeah,
He won the Vuelta.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
But it wasn't the same helmet that he won. It was a different, so he still carried on that
And red shoes.
And
He
he
had red
put red
shoes,
shoes
yeah.
on, but
Yeah.
he didn't have the red shoes at the Vuelta.
because he wanted to go home. Get it?
Yeah, probably.
There's no place like home.
Oh.
Ruby slippers. Ruby
It's true.
slippers. I had a hard time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm warming up to the guy. I just saw his pity pouts earlier in the year, and I'm like, there's this little shit. But he's growing again, just like Cavendish kind of thing like that. He's growing up before our eyes, and it's so
Yeah.
hard for me to just go, Pat, relax. It's okay. He's just a young punk making mistakes. Just like storming out of your hotel room in your boxer shorts. Well, maybe not.
Shaking little kids.
Yeah, shaking. God, what the
Eighth
fuck?
graders, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Tap
Well,
him on
I
the-
probably would have done it at 2 a.m. also.
I would have been so mad. I would have been so mad. But I thought it was a great race. I thought the women's race was better.
I agree.
I personally
I
felt
agree.
the women's race was more exciting. And not like the men's race sucked, but it was more exciting. Last question about the Worlds, and this is maybe something for a greater discussion later on. Is the world champion truly a world champion? Being the world championships as a one-day race, does that truly tell us who the best in the world is?
I think this year it did.
Really?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
both men's and women, I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the Paris-Roubaix champion doesn't get to wear a cobble jersey all year round.
No, but he has a cobblestone for the rest of his life in his house. And that's pretty fucking cool.
We just hit balls off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think Dylan Van Baarle really deserves a whole year. To be honest,
I don't know.
I don't
He-
know
he's-
if
he
he
got
had-
second in Worlds last year, and he got second in Flanders like right before. So he was qualified, I think. But Yeah.
Yeah.
I think classic, because it's a monument, it carries its own weight, you know. World Championships, that's the way the system's set up. Okay. And it's unique because it's your country. It's not a trade team. So therefore...
don't get me wrong. I love that element of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's that one, your country, so it's the world. So you're representing your country against the world. So yes, not as opposed to the best rider. Yeah. If it was trade teams, I would say bollocks. That's
But because you could look at like like I remember the days of the Super Prestige series. Why isn't that the world champion?
Yeah.
When you've got the entire series based upon individual points in races, should that decide? When we had the true World Cup, where a rider would finish the year at the end of the year with that leader's jersey, isn't that in essence the world champion?
He is, without a doubt, the best rider. Yeah. World Championship, unfortunately, because of its name and tradition, it goes to whatever country.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to jump too far ahead because we're not to the end of the season, but if you had to pick a world champion of the year, not based upon a single day event, who would it be?
Wout for me.
Wout? Paul? Jackson?
Honestly, it's Remco. It's really hard to look past him. He won.
You got a good point.
Yeah, he won Classica San Sebastian. Didn't he win Liège?
LBL.
Yeah, he won Liège. And then he won a Grand Tour, and then he won the Worlds. Honestly, that is probably the most impressive record of the entire season of any rider.
Who was the last rider to do that? Win a Grand Tour and a Monument and the World Championships.
I listened to it.
Stephen Roche. No?
It wasn't Merckx, was it?
No, he didn't. Stephen Roche didn't win a Monument.
That year. In 1 year.
He won 2 Grand Tours and the Worlds.
Okay.
Because I know
Le Mans?
No. Yes, it was.
Le Mans won a Grand Tour and the World Championships. That would have been the latest.
It wasn't Lance, was it?
Nope.
Lance was the second.
He's never won a Monument.
Yeah, because Lance was the youngest ever.
You used to have a poster of him, and he's your favorite
Bernardino?
guy. Yep.
Bernardino, no shit. I still have a you fucking kidding me? Of course I have a poster. It's dog-eared like an old book, but it's still hanging in the shop. So yeah.
It is.
Wow.
So that's been a long time since a Monument. Yeah. That's a well-rounded. I think one person had Tade done that, like the year before, but he didn't win the World Championships.
Wow. Okay, before we get to the final fun bullshit at the end of what do we need to do on the wheels, Paul? What do you need assistance with?
Well, because I'm not familiar with these extenders. I want to make sure before I blow them up. I want to put air in them and stuff. So do you want me to do that now?
No, it's okay. We can do it after the show if you want.
But I halted because if I glue these on, I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I gotta peel these back off.
Tell me about the gluing process. How long? Like you put this glue on 25-30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
is that okay?
Yeah, I'll put another layer on the rims. I spread it out across the rims.
Yeah.
So what I do is, like I told you, so the first, you stretch out your tires. I give a day, 2 days on a set of tubular wheels, and I pump them up to 120. And then, especially with Continentals, because they're not a cotton base, so they don't stretch as well. They're nylon, and especially gator skins. This
I'm
be a little
sorry
tougher.
about fucking gator skins.
But
he's been busting my balls ever since day one. I'm just like, I want to train on them.
Once you stretch them out, you take them off, and you blow them up so they just roll out like in a 90-degree cotton base. And then you put a layer, nice, even all the way around, way to have them hanging, not face up, where dust and stuff gets on there. And then you do another layer the next day, and then you put a little on your rim and a little bit for lubrication, just spread a little bit on the base tape. Put it on there, center it, pump it up to 100 pounds. Yeah. Next day you're ready to go.
Okay.
About 24 hours after you do that. But, yeah. I love these things. They ride like...
I can't wait.
There's nothing.
I haven't been on a set of tubulars since the late 80s. Mm-hmm. I seriously haven't. I don't know why I shifted in the 90s to whatever it was.
Well, I mean,
now
tire technology,
early mid 90s is when I switched. Probably
tire technology has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to get flats on clinchers. Doesn't matter what you ran. We always got. Yeah. I don't get flats hardly
every 3 to
ever.
5
Yeah.
rides, you'd get a flat on
Yeah,
adventure.
you would.
Yeah.
Mhm. And even tubulars too. They would.
Yeah.
You would had training tubulars. I'd run like swallows or $10,
Yeah.
and I'd have a wrapped up one that was just the tread was gone, and I'd roll it up and take a old
Yeah.
toe clip strap,
Yeah.
and put it underneath and
I
that
ran-
was it. And I could peel it off. And
I
then
ran
everyone
Wilbert
was-
Invulnerables.
They're
Wilbur
terrible.
Invulnerables. But they. My dad was like, they have Teflon in them. They're super fucking tough. And
They
so
were
those are
steel
what I ran.
mesh. They weren't even
Yeah.
Teflon.
Oh, that's what it was.
They
When
were-
we ran those fucking things, those were my training tires. That's what I ran.
Did you get flats?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Probably.
the mesh
Yeah,
would
yeah.
would actually break, and then they would puncture.
Yeah, so you got metal shards going into your tire.
They were terrible. Well, there was not a good tire.
Oh, they're
They were
gone,
French.
right?
Yeah.
They're French. Take that out, Philippe. Hey, let's end with some fun. Would you rather, gentlemen? Little round of would you rather. So it's kind of a speed round, just like everything. By the way, speaking of speed rounds, the interview season has started, and last night I was able to sit down with what I've coined the phrase mileheads. I had 3 friends of the show, two new friends of the show, and one of the only Justin Short.
Yeah.
They rode, of course, here because they're mileheads. And I wanted to get inside the mind of people who go out and crank out 10, 12, 14-hour rides just for fun. And I wanted to get inside the mind of that. And I had a good talk with those guys last night. And so the interview season has begun. That show's going to be posted probably a little bit later this week. And so stick in for that. If you're one of those long lunatics who is upset that I don't know who Lael Wilcox is, we have a couple guys who busted my balls over the fact that I don't know who Lael Wilcox is.
I remember that.
Gentlemen, would you rather ride 100 miles in a full dress suit or naked? Jackson.
Oh, Christ. Naked, probably. It's the natural form.
Yeah, it is.
Paul.
Naked, as long as I have my saddle, the saddle I ride now.
Do your current saddle.
That's for Sam because he hates my saddle.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah, my physique. Yeah.
See, I'm torn. That's a hard one.
I don't
would
like
be torn.
seams in
Because that's
100
the pants. Yeah. One of the guys last night rode here in regular shorts, and that's
How
what
far
he
was
does.
his commute?
Well, that's what he does on all his rides.
No, that sucks.
No chamois.
He's got a callous taint.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna
Yeah,
say.
talk about a...
I should have talked to
That's
him
the
more.
taint
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Solid wood.
Would you rather have more time to train or more money to buy stuff, Jackson?
Oh, God, more money to buy stuff. That'd make me way faster.
Paul,
Train. I'd love to train. I can patch anything together. Keep going.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm the money to buy stuff. Would you rather meet Eddie Merckx or Chris Froome? Paul.
Merckx.
Yeah.
I saw him in a distance at a trade show, so
Yeah.
but I didn't want to say anything.
Just screaming like a groupie.
Yeah. I love you.
Jackson,
Remind me of the question?
would you rather meet Eddie Merckx or Chris Froome?
Oh, Eddie Merckx.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy. You
Yeah,
kidding
Froome wouldn't
me?
even look at you. He's just staring at his watch.
staring at his
You know,
head
with
down.
that, yeah.
He can only look at you for a
Yes,
short glimpse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather go to Mallorca with Lance Armstrong and the gang for $50,000, or
No.
would you rather have $50,000? This is a trick
$50,000
question.
Are you
bucks.
kidding me?
That's how much the new camp costs.
Give me $45 and I'll be happy.
That
I think
was
the 50,000 and more time to train.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
that
Now I
was-
got
yeah, are you
both.
kidding
Yeah.
me?
that was a trick question.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me?
$50,000
Yeah.
for a
But you get a
douchebag?
bike. You get a bike though.
Oh, you
You
get
get
a
a
bike?
Pinarello.
Great.
Do you get to keep the bike?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Still
The
take the
original program was you got to keep the bike,
Oh.
but that happened during COVID, so it
Yeah.
went down the toilet.
Unless
didn't it,
Johan
or
eats
something?
it.
Yeah, that guy's huge.
He's having
I thought
a
he was
good
a
time.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or something.
Would you rather only be able to eat bacon on long rides or only be able to drink milk on long rides? So
Milk,
you,
easy.
you'd
Love
only
milk.
milk in the water bottles.
Yeah.
That's it. Jackson,
Not on
milk?
an 80-degree day though. That would be a bad
Oh,
choice.
yeah. Milk was a bad choice. Yeah.
Bacon.
Bacon?
Yeah.
I would go with bacon too. I would need real water or something like that. Would you rather have a full-time coach or a full-time mechanic, Jackson?
A full-time mechanic. I've done the coaching
Yeah.
stuff too much.
Yeah,
I'm
too
over
much.
that.
Too much. Yeah, Paul?
Coach.
Yeah. Oh, coach!
Mm-hmm.
Because you're comfortable and you
Yeah, I
are.
like working on
mechanic.
bikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love it to the point to open a bike shop.
Yeah.
I like working on my bike.
Do you? Yeah. I'd go with mechanic, too. Would you rather be an Olympic gold medalist or a world champion, Jackson?
Oh, world champion.
Really?
Yeah. You get to have that for the rest of your life. You don't
Yeah,
get to have the gold
absolutely.
bands for the next
You do.
forever.
No,
you don't.
You don't get to fucking.
It's whoever's the reigning champion gets the,
Ben Avermaet.
He doesn't.
He had it on his jersey for a long time.
For 8 years because they didn't, or for like
Yeah.
06.
For
Yeah.
6 years because they didn't do the.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just the reigning champion, a world champion
Paul,
because
you're world champion.
although the world only recognizes the Olympics, but
Yeah.
if you're a hardcore cyclist, world champions
Yeah.
trumps.
I'd be world champion too. Would you rather race solo all the time and potentially win, or work for a teammate?
Work solo for a win.
You
Well,
get
no
to,
teammates.
no teammates, and try to win, or constantly forever work for a teammate and never have the opportunity to win.
Well, that's how I race now. So I'll just
You're
do
solo.
that.
Yeah.
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 You pretty much are. Yeah.
I like racing on a team. I do.
Do you?
I would do team as long as the team's successful. If not, then I'd say fuck it. I'm going solo.
Solo. See,
Screw you
I
guys.
just filled
I-
my guts out, and
Yeah. I spent a
you
lot.
lost a sprint again. Fuck you.
I spent a lot of time solo myself, so I would probably go solo. I spent a lot of time solo. Even after the years when the team had a bunch of juniors, I was older than them, so I was racing solo. So I'd do that. Would you rather have a free frames sponsor or a free component sponsor?
Frame for me, easy.
Yeah. Jackson?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think frame though too.
Mhm.
I feel like that's more spendy than the group set.
And you can get more what you want. I mean,
Yeah.
SRAM, Shimano, Campanella, they, to be honest, on the top end, they all perform really well. Differently, but they perform well. But a good fit is a good fit.
And in some cases,
Very true.
you can use components on multiple bikes.
Mm-hmm.
You can take
Yeah.
a component group and switch it to a new frame.
That's Terry McLeod.
Yeah. Terry destroyed his bike,
Yeah.
but
And anymore, everything's
doesn't anymore.
electronic. So what really makes the difference
Yeah.
besides weight? And the difference between 105 and full on, I'm talking just Shimano, but
Yeah.
and full on DI2 Durace, it's not that much. It's like
Weight-wise?
maybe it's not over 100
What?
grams. It's like very small.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
really anymore, it's not that.
what?
Yeah. It's crazy. I saw that on a GCN video.
Wow.
Wow.
So what's the point of Ultegra is my question. Sorry, getting a little sidetracked,
what
but
I'm
that's
on,
the
though.
question.
Yeah.
That's another day to answer.
That's what I'm on. Wow. Okay. Would you last one? Would you rather never have to clean your bike again, or never have to wash your kit again? Clean clothes forever, or clean bikes forever?
I like to do laundry for some weird sadistic reason. So I hate cleaning my bike.
Do you?
And so I will definitely wash my kit for the rest of my life and just have an ultimately clean bike.
Paul,
So
you
the thing
find
is,
peace and harmony. In
well,
cleaning
I
your
like
bike,
I
don't
like
you?
washing my bike because then I can look at see if there's cracks or what's going on and if I can see any flaws. That's why I like washing my bike. It's not like a pleasure.
Yeah.
I don't have any pleasure washing my clothes, so I probably lean to bike because there's a little more detail involved.
Yeah.
And if somebody could just do my laundry, I'd always have a fresh kit. Because how many times you're like, I think there's only 20 miles on this chamois.
Oh
No,
that's
the
no.
one I got sick
Yeah,
in.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I soiled that one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
See,
Follow that.
That hemorrhoid
Oh
was
shit! These are
burst in that one.
these are
So-
Jack's shorts.
God dang it!
See, I immediately finish a ride, boom, right into the washing machine.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have enough kit. They fill up one side of my.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got.
I have
a
so
special
many
compartment
kids.
for
I have
those.
so many kids.
I got a
So
basket.
I would rather not ever clean my bike again.
Yeah.
How do you know if it's running well, or I guess when you get on it?
if it was always clean, is what I'm saying.
Oh, so somebody's cleaning it and washing it for you and tuning
Or
it up.
it just comes home and it's automatically clean. It's just like.
But but not tuned up. But see, I do the same. So then while I'm cleaning it, I can actually do a little bit. If I need to do any adjusting, I check it out on the stand.
Yeah, I do need to adjust my front derailleur.
The way I am, and
it's bad.
I always go, Dad, can you help me?
Yeah.
And then we do it together, and you see
Yeah.
if there's any issues.
Yeah.
That's true. I do have to reach down a little bit and help my front derailleur these days. I got to work on that.
Yeah.
Well, usually I just
Clean
don't-
it, and then you can adjust it at the same time.
I do clean it. I've been.
But you don't
far
adjust it
more
at the
on
same
top of
time?
it. No,
Yeah.
no, because
You're getting your hands dirty anyway and soapy. You might as well.
that's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go into full cleaning mode, it is like
Douche.
full cleaning mode,
Yeah.
just like everything. I'm taking everything off. Douche. I'm throwing the cogstat in the
Vinegar,
ultrasonic,
water, whatever.
Yeah, vinegar,
Messingale.
water, yeah,
We
whatever
got it going
takes.
down.
Good God.
God, I wonder if that would work for cleaning your bike.
Anyways, folks, this has been the Packfiller Podcast for the week.
Keep going. You got it. Take us out, Jackson.
Like, subscribe. Tell us if you see anything